Deborah Lane was just 28 years old in the summer of 1988, a young mother with a warm smile, a steady job, and dreams of raising her children in a home filled with love instead of fear. But behind her soft voice and hopeful plans, there was a life unraveling. Her marriage to Robert Lane had started like a fairy tale, but years of alleged domestic abuse had turned it into a nightmare she could no longer escape. She had separated from Robert, moving into her own small apartment with her two children, determined to reclaim her life. Her sister recalled Deborah saying, almost like a warning, "If something happens to me, look at Robert first." The Lane marriage had once been the picture of young romance. Robert was charming, attentive, and ambitious. But after their second child was born, Deborah confided in friends about his jealousy, his temper, and nights when fear replaced sleep. By early 1988, Deborah had taken the children and left. She filed for legal separation and was preparing divorce papers. Yet Robert lingered in the shadows. Neighbors saw his car parked outside her building late at night. He left messages that swung between pleading and threatening. Deborah told her closest friend, "He doesn't want me to leave, but I can't go back." That tension became the storm cloud no one could see, until it broke. On June 14th, 1988, Deborah didn't show up for work. A neighbor, worried after seeing her door ajar, called police. Inside, investigators found a scene of violence. Deborah was dead. Her life ended in what looked like a crime of rage rather than robbery. Robert was questioned immediately. He denied everything. No witnesses, no clear evidence. Forensics in 1988 had limits, and the case went cold. Deborah's family buried her with more questions than answers, haunted by the thought that her warning had been right all along. Over the decades, Robert remarried, moved away, lived quietly, but detectives never closed the file. In 2023, the Cold Case Unit pulled Deborah's file as part of a DNA evidence review project. Old fingernail scrapings, preserved for decades, were retested with modern technology. The results stunned investigators. Robert Lane's DNA was there. Suddenly, the man who had lived free for 37 years was now at the center of a homicide case he thought the world had forgotten. Prosecutors built a timeline: his threats, his presence near her apartment, his life after her death. Piece by piece, the case grew stronger until they were ready to move. In early 2025, Robert Lane was arrested. At trial, jurors heard Deborah's story through her sister, her friends, and pages from her diary documenting years of fear. The DNA evidence sealed it. After only 2 hours of deliberation, the jury delivered its verdict: guilty of first-degree murder. Robert Lane, now in his 60s, was sentenced to life in prison. For Deborah's children, now adults, it was the justice they had waited their entire lives to see. Her sister said softly outside the courthouse, "It took 37 years, but she finally got her voice back."